Now, one of the things that's really common when you see a lot of clients, are the knots in their upper back, and they might be tense and that sort of thing. So people can't afford to generally, go and get a massage 3 times a week and so on and so forth. So it's great to be able to give them something to do at home, because they might say, how do I keep loose at home? I can't come for massages all the time. So I'm going to show you a couple of videos. One is me doing extensions through the upper back, which are really important as I go through. This is a couple of older videos that I did a few years ago. One is through foam rolling, thoracic extensions, which are great to counteract all the flexion that we have at the computer, that sort of thing. And the other one's using a tennis ball. These are brilliant little tips that I used to give my clients this advice when they come in, and you can do exactly the same thing. And it's so cheap, especially with the tennis ball, to help them, and they will get better quicker because they'll be doing work at home on themselves, and they'll really appreciate the advice that you give them, because again, for the sake of $1 for a tennis ball or whatever it costs, then they can start working their own back pain, knots in their upper back between their shoulder blades, that sort of thing. And as I say, they'll really appreciate this very cheap, really, really effective way to help them between your sessions.
Okay, a fabulous technique that I use every single day and recommend to my clients is foam rolling. This is a foam roller from Rumble Rollers. This is slightly different to the normal ones because it's got like knobs on it, which are really, really fantastic to get into the muscles. Normally these are smooth. It's called myofascial foam rolling. It's an absolutely fantastic way to maintain good muscle tone throughout your back and your neck. So I recommend you start doing some foam rolling as well once you're out of pain to continue having a pain-free back or neck. So what you're going to do, you can buy DVDs specific for this. One that's really detailed, which is called the MELT, M-E-L-T, MELT method, which is very good. They've got an ebook, a DVD, so you can learn different sequences. But I want to just show you some really good sequences that I use, which are fantastic to counteract the sitting forward head posture and flexions with the spine. So this is a really easy technique to do and feels really nice. You just sit on the end. You want to have your head on the end of the foam roller. Just lay down along the length of the spine, palms facing up, and there you have it. And what it does is give a beautiful stretch through this. Opens you out because, as we talked about before, everything's all closed in. So what we're doing is doing that opposite. And so you can just lay here for 3 minutes like this and just relax on top of that. Okay? So that'll just open out your body really beautifully. After that, what you can do is start doing some rolling along the foam roller. And that's achieved like this. You get on here. And what you want to do to really access the muscles, the knots between your shoulder blades, is bring your elbows up like this. Contact your core. Make sure your core is nice and strong. And you come up and you work along, elbows up. Keep your body rigid, the core rigid, okay, and work along. Just go nice and slowly. There's absolutely no need to rush this. In fact, it's better if you go slower. And what you can do if you feel those areas that are a little bit more painful in the muscle, you can just stay on them. It's a bit like a therapist putting their thumb or elbow into that knot as it just works that bit of muscle tone there. So you go along here, do several repetitions like that. Feels really lovely. And then what you can do as well, put your hips down on the ground again, and you can do what's called a shearing technique, where you then do side bends. Again, keep your head supported both ways, side bending either way as you do it. And that does shearing techniques through the thoracic. Really, really lovely. You can go right along the spine and it feels fantastic. Another really fantastic thing you should do is thoracic extensions, because again, we're always in flexion with our thoracic. So what you can do is get each spinal level, you'll extend across. Now it's not bending the head back, it is just using the pivot points of the foam roller at each segmental level. So you do a few like this, and then move up and keep working. And you just do 3 or 4 repetitions right along the thoracic spine. You don't want to go too low or too high. It'll feel wrong just because this area right through between the shoulder blades is where it needs most, and it really just loosens up through that thoracic spine. Really, really important, really, really fantastic, and you'll feel great by doing just a few minutes every single day. Okay, once again, we're still keeping the core strong, we're keeping neutral spine, and what you can do now is work your buttocks as well. As you work through your buttocks, if you're flexible enough, you can even drop a leg across and work either side like this. And again, where you feel those painful spots, those areas of tension, pain, as long as it's not too painful, you can stay there on those spots to really help loosen up those areas as you work through both sides of the buttocks. As I say, you can cross your leg over here. It'll make it more intense. If you can't, just work it through. As long as you don't go into flexion, you'll be absolutely fine as you work your way along through both sides there, and that'll again really help work trigger points and loosen up your buttocks and your glutes. Another fabulous technique to help your muscle tone to loosen up things through your lower back and your buttocks is with this, a tennis ball. For the sake of $1, it's well worth the investment. What we're going to do is just help maintain again your muscle tone, and you can do this. In fact, when I travel, I take a tennis ball. There are other balls on the market specific for trigger point release, but this is a tennis ball for $1 or less. Let me show you. There's some really major trigger points right here, a little further out, base your spine on the sides, and just up underneath the 12th rib. What we're going to do is, first of all, we're going to work it up and down. We're going to stay off the spine, but we're going to work it up and down these levels. So what you do, put it just below the ribs there, okay, your lower back, and you're going to use your legs, and again, just go nice and slowly. It feels heavenly, and just work up and down as you're going through. And like I'm feeling now, you feel some sensitive areas. Stay on those. Keep your neutral spine the whole way, abdominal bracing. What you're going to do is just where you feel those painful areas, just make it no more than what I call a happy pain. Don't make it too painful for yourself. Just you're in control of the pressure. And what you're going to do is just stay there for a few seconds and then move on. You're sort of scanning the muscle for areas of tightness. So you're going to do those lower back muscles, either side of the spine, do both of them, and then the buttocks across the hips here. Same thing. You're going to work across those tight muscles, your piriformis, all these tight muscles through your glutes. Same deal. Where you feel a really painful area, that's where you're going to stay to help loosen up those muscles. For the sake of 2 or 3 minutes, it feels fabulous, and you can do that all the way through the buttock region and your lower back. The other thing you can do is, because we have knots through our upper back, same thing between the shoulder blades. Take it up here. Okay, exactly the same thing. Don't shrug the shoulders. You're just working up, and you can do this, and again, this starts to loosen up through your upper back. Just keep all your shoulders and arms loose and work through either side. And again, where you feel points that are too sensitive, just lean your body weight in as you start to work your upper back areas, okay? Same thing across the top of the traps. You can even get into them right at the top area here. Right along the top of the trapezius muscles here, it's a little more difficult to get that because it tends to slide out. But what you can do is get an umbrella that has the handle, like a curved handle. You can get the umbrella, put that curve, if this was the curve of the handle, right on top of the muscle belly, and then just gently pull down on the umbrella, if this was the umbrella, and you can work these muscle tissues through here. Really simple, really cheap, really effective.